It's been a very busy and exciting week around the Dog Nation. We're back with another edition of Dog Center with special guest Tyson Browning, all brought to you by Athens Regional Medical Center, the official healthcare provider of the Georgia Bulldogs. It's great to be back with Dog Center. I am stand-in guest host Mike Usry, Russ Tanner, Dennis Rowland. We're here joined today by former Letterman and running back Tyson Browning.
Man, thanks for having me, guys. Thanks for having me.
So Tyson did a few exciting things in his day. We're going to cut to a clip now.
First and 18 at the 7.
No blitz this time.
Screen pass right side, caught by Tyson Browning. He's got some room. He's got a lot more room. He's got a downfield block, and he is gone. No flags. Tyson Browning, 93-yard Bulldog touchdown.
Tyson, give me a rundown of that play. What was going through your mind from the huddle to the break to everything?
Well, first of all, I remember it being late in the game and, we were still trailing and, really thought we were out of it at that point. But I remember Coach Tereshinski coming up to me and saying, stay ready, just stay ready. And Greeny got me in the huddle, was like, all right, TB, this is it. And next thing I know, Russ is plowing through people and Damian closed off a few blocks and we went 93 yards.
Absolutely. Exciting highlight.
Yes, sir.
So my favorite point of the highlight is I have one career highlight that ever gets shown again in Georgia plays, and it's because of my man right here. So, not to brag or anything, but to lay it out there real quick. I did get 2 Tigers on the ground, but, blocking this guy's a lot of fun. He's probably the quickest guy that was ever behind us. There's always that old adage about he could play. You couldn't tackle him in a 2-hand touch in a phone booth, and this is the kind of guy he is. So on the field, man, great play, great dog, and we're glad to have my man with us today.
I'm happy to be here, man. Happy to be here.
So your view of that play is much like my career. It was just kind of, you weren't out there.
I was on the sideline. I wouldn't be playing until later in that season.
So his name on the show is officially Sideline Mike.
Clipboard
Mike. Sorry, that's another Mike. Sideline Mike.
Yeah, we have a
Sideline
Mike.
Anyway.
Well, I finally got to start later in the year against LSU again in the championship game. So I broke
game.
the sideline.
There you go.
Curse.
So,
Yes.
and y'all beat them again.
No.
Not that year. Yeah, not that year.
Players back.
I think we changed our pass protection that offseason.
Based on that game.
It was pretty bad. After we played LSU that year, David Graham's our quarterback. I think I was the oldest offensive lineman. Me and Dennis were redshirt sophomores. We were the oldest on the team. And after the LSU game, I felt like I had to apologize to Miss Green. I'm so sorry.
Oh, God.
David's going to be okay. So, we got 47 sacks and changed things up. But anyways, let's go on to the years we actually won something.
Wider things.
There we go. Moving along.
Good deal. So let's go into current topics. Things going on. You're talking about youth right there, freshmen. Y'all were young then. Kirby's already said for this year, we got some talent on the team. We're going to play some of these freshman kids. Is that indicative of regime change? These are my guys, my kids, or is it really we just got that much talent and we have to depend on it?
Well, I don't know about the rest of these guys. I remember back when we all first came in and we came in with a lot of talented guys that, I don't really think it mattered where they went. They were going to play early. So a lot of these guys came in and made big plays and, they kind of paid off for Coach Rick and his staff.
I think there's some level of it too, to whereas, these kids are coming in a lot more prepared than we were 10 or 15 years ago.
Definitely.
Kirby brought actually some of the guys, the team to our church this past weekend, just seeing those guys walk in as freshmen.
Yeah.
Jacob Eason walks by. I'm like, that's a big man.
He is a very big
So these
man.
guys are coming in physically a lot more ready for SEC football, ready to go. Mm-hmm. And honestly, you now know the whole No-Sean Marino thing happened. What happened with No-Sean a few years ago? Mm-hmm. They redshirted and we had 2. Yeah. So, these guys, you don't know a lot of times who's going to be the studs. And if you get a stud, you want to have 3 good years out of them before they go to the league early. So, you got to put them on the field. You got to play. The pressure's to win and to win now. And for that reason, I think you see these guys, being contributors a lot sooner than maybe, we would like for them to be.
Right. Most definitely.
Yeah, I would just piggyback on what Russ said. With the NFL changes a few years ago with the slotted draft picks, more guys are leaving early. It's not worth their time to come back and get better if they're not going to get paid anymore. And I would think back to 05, our senior year. I think on the 3-deep depth chart, we might have had 5 true freshmen, maybe. And maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but then last season in the first 3 games, maybe 20. 20 true freshmen were playing. So, it just depends on the season and who you got coming in and who you got staying as older veterans.
But, it does lead to, and I'll let you move on after this, but for the coaches, no matter what they say, if you're playing that many freshmen, you have the old pucker factor. If you don't know what the pucker factor is, we can explain it to you another time. But, let's just say you're a little nervous when all those young bucks are out there trying to win some battles for you.
Great segue there. So we're going to have the pucker factor against North Carolina. How many of these kids and who specifically of these freshmen do you see being on the field at North Carolina making that big impact in the Dome?
I think the one kid we know is going to play a lot is going to be Elijah Holyfield. There's a lot of other questions if some of the receivers are going to make it in, and who knows. We're going to talk about Jacob Eason a little bit, but for me, I'm going to say Elijah Holyfield is going to be the guy. Running backs, not to diminish my man here, but a lot of times you ain't got to be the smartest cat on the field. I ain't knocking him saying he's dumb. I'm just saying get the ball, go score. So but Elijah Holyfield, and he may be a 5.0 kid. I don't know. But you're going to see him play with Chubb and Michelle both have some injury issues. Cholyfield. Is he one of our guys? That's Cholyfield. That's
Holyfield.
Holyfield's going to be a guy who gets a lot of PT in that opening game. Yeah.
I'd probably go with Miko. I'm going to leave the quarterback to you, but he's an athlete. He can play a bunch of different positions. You can see him on offense, defense, for sure, special teams. I'm excited to see what he can do. Got to watch him play a few years ago when I was helping coach at Oconee, and just a really good athlete. Excited for him.
Extremely fiery competitor, tough as nails, and can absolutely fly.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I'm gonna, agree with my boy Russ over here. Even though I'm not gonna say we can't understand the playbook, but I will say, as the freshman running back with both of those guys hurt, he definitely should be ready to play early this year.
And he's phically prepared. There's no doubt about it.
He's ready for 12 rounds. Right?
I mean, his arms are bigger than Tyson's legs when he came in as freshman. So he's
true
stacked.
Statement.
He's good. And then don't sleep on Brian Herring. Is that his?
The running back, the late guy.
Yes, he seems to be physically capable as well. And given the situation and attrition and injury, he may be one of those guys that we see step up and get more PT than expected.
Agreed.
So talking about newcomers, incomers, we got last week we talked about transfer from Alabama, safety, defensive back Maurice Smith. Very interesting things that unfolded last week, and we talked about it a little bit on the show. What's the impact that Maurice Smith is going to have on our football team from a talent playing perspective, but also a chemistry perspective? How's that going to impact the team coming up?
Chemistry I don't think is a big deal. Locker rooms, we've all been fortunate to be in a locker room. If a guy comes in, has a good attitude, is willing to work hard, you're accepted almost immediately if you come in, and kind of with that kind of humble spirit about, I'm going to do what you guys need me to do. He's going to be a guy who's mature. You don't graduate in 3 years unless you're a smart guy, you're a mature guy. And he knows the system. So if he's even a calming influence for some of these young cats who are going to be back there, because our other guys are young. You've got, Quincy Mosier is how he's going now, and Dominic Sanders. You've got a lot of young guys, McCole Hardeman and of the likes. So you need a guy like that who can really step in and just tell those guys, boys, take a breath. It's going to be okay. Because I think the veteran presence he's going to bring is probably going to be one of the biggest attributes, that helps.
I definitely believe that his leadership would be the biggest positive that he brings to the team. The fact that he's more comfortable in the system, he believes in the system, because a lot of these new guys haven't had a chance to play with Kirby, so they're going to have to buy into this system. And with this guy coming from Alabama who's more comfortable, I think it'll help the young guys out.
And kind of a different situation usually with the transfers, undergrads. You got to sit out a year, you get the whole season to learn the playbook, learn how the coaches and the system works. Now he's coming from the system, he knows what to do.
Yeah.
And from experience with myself in the league, guys get picked up during the season and they're starting that Sunday after coming in on Tuesday. So, it can happen. He's a smart guy like Russ has alluded to, so I think he can step right in already knowing the playbook.
That's amazing input. I never even dawned on me about the impact of NFL guys coming in and starting that next week. And let's not act like Alabama hasn't been on the receiving end of this very recently with the receivers that they've been blessed with coming in their fifth year and really contributing. And, of course, you also have the Russell Wilson factor from NC State to Wisconsin, led them to a Rose Bowl, and what he's been able to do ever since. So, great topics. Now we're going to take a brief break. and get a word from our sponsors.
All right.
Woohoo!
You got your bottles?
And this awesome uncut segment brought to you by Southwind Organics, the world leader, not really, soon to be world leader in agricultural. So what does Southwind do, Russ?
Helps you grow stuff organically, and it boosts and enhances your conditional soils.
Your conditional soils.
Sure.
Soil amendments, organic fertilizers, poultry amendments.
Sure, it's good.
We're back live, not from Russ's basement.
Potentially.
Potentially, as everyone thinks.
Maybe we are. No, we're not.
So we got a new segment, new feature that I think everybody on this show will appreciate. It is the new Jackleg Message Board Post of the Week.
Thanks, guys. Scooter Scott Brown here. Now, we here at the Dog Center love to talk about all things dogs. That includes the message board forums focused around the dogs. We love to hear about what the fans are saying, what the hot topics are, but unfortunately you'll have a bonehead, a Nimrod, come in and say something totally ridiculous, not related to sports at all, not related to football at all, and at this time of year we find that a little disgraceful. So we're going to open up our new segment called the Jackleg Message Board Post of the Week. First installment comes from Holly54, and they write on Dogs 24/7 Junkyard, a forum dedicated to all things Georgia football. It reads, anyone bought a mattress online? Certainly someone has bought a mattress online. Not from a Dogs forum, though. I need a new one, and I'm contemplating trying it. Leaning towards a ghost bed right now. A mattress? Really? 2016 season is about to start in 2 weeks, and you have the audacity to take up the bandwidth on a chat board and talk about a mother-loving mattress. Fall camp going on. Quarterback controversy. New head coach. Chubb's coming off an injury, and Jacob Eason is here. And you're talking about a mattress. I'm not in the bushes spying on mattresses. I'm in the bushes spying on practices. And trust me, I know the difference. It's full. That's full of air. That's regulation size, and I appreciate that. I just need a minute. I'm sorry. Come on, Scooter. For the love of God, what are you thinking? Hey, Mom. No, this would have happened to Vince. We're still here, guys. Yeah, no, it happened again. Seriously.
Scooter, he's still alive.
That makes my point even more. Pull it together. It's so hard. He's strong for Kirby. What would Kirby do? Sorry, guys, I promise it wouldn't happen again. Scooter's back. All right. Now, that brings us to our second segment, the Gold Star Post of the Week. Now, this is when we take some time out and we genuinely thank one of our fans, one of the Dog Nation fans, for posting something so truly existential, so deep, so heartfelt. It touched me. I know it touched you guys too. Reservoir Dog. Reservoir_dog. Online mattresses are fine as long as you're getting the right thing. Go to sleeplikeabed.com. Do the research there. Check it out. You'll find what you're looking for. This is what we need, Dog Nation. This is what America needs. I mean, USA, right? The ghost of Mark Richt is not rolling in his grave right now. Okay?
He's alive.
He's alive too? Well, that's 0 for 2. Seriously, from the bottom of my heart, I did do the research. I went on to sleeplikethedead.com, not a sponsor. And with everything that I have, it was the best decision that I've ever made. You are a hero, Reservoir Dog. I slept for 12 hours. My family thought I was missing. I didn't show up to work. I missed church on Sunday. I was late here because of it. And I'm not apologizing for any of it. Seriously. The bags, gone. Crow's feet, not a symptom of sleep. Somehow they're gone too. I felt like a toddler on Benadryl. Seriously. This was the best decision I've ever made, and you are my personal hero. Gold medal goes to you. So does the Gold Star. that was an Olympic reference. Let me tell you something, guys. It is people like Reservoir_Dogs that make this a great nation, a great dog nation. I'm so rested, I can stay at the practice as long as I want. They can't catch me. I'm running, I'm sticking with them. Thank you, because of the rest that I'm getting. I'm getting Z's like nobody's. I've counted so many sheep. All right, guys, that's it for me. Thanks to all you guys out there. Without you, it wouldn't be possible. I'm about to send it back to you guys, but before, if any of you are out there and you come across another Jackleg message board post, feel free to send it in. Make sure you include the link. Where's the... Right there! Still there. All right. Keep in mind, this is not just limited to the Dogs. We will accept forms from any team across the nation, except South Carolina, because we all know they don't have internet. That's it for me, guys. Back to y'all.
Wow.
All right. This show's gone down.
Okay.
That's not your wife posting about your mattress over there. Okay, we're just curious about
Back
that.
to the Dogs.
Okay, awesome. So, what everybody wants to know, the question, the topic at hand. Love it when there's quarterback controversies. No, I don't. But anyway, we've got one on our hands. The fans have their favorite. Do the coaches know at this point who's going to start at quarterback in the Georgia Dome versus North Carolina?
All right, Mike, I want to come back and throw it to you for a second. I know you're the host of the show. You're not supposed to talk. But out of the people here, you probably have some perspective of some of the guys, who are sitting there. So think about it from your perspective. So we saw this week, it's been broken all over. We'll give credit to Roddy DeBoltz and his guys at UGA Sports. They broke the news that Eason's taken all the reps with the first team practice this week. So you got guys like Lambert and Bryce Ramsey who have been here a while, have been around, and you were kind of in that boat,
Yes.
back when you were playing. You and several other guys have been here, Hibble, Daniel Cobb, I think a few other guys.
John England.
Who had been here, had the respect, and then all of a sudden Quincy Carter comes in.
Yep.
Super talented, big name. What are those guys dealing with now? What's Grayson Lambert and Bryce Ramsey dealing with this super stud coming in behind them and starting to get all the reps?
Yeah, it's a challenging, painful, heartbreaking thing, I can say right off the bat. It's two different worlds for Grayson Lambert, who Virginia commit right off the bat, etc. Whole nother can of worms for Bryce Ramsey, who, by the way, has never started a football game. Let's not forget last fall what happened to him when he's basically running number 2. The number 3 starts the Florida game, never plays again, that whole debacle. Ramsey's had several offensive coordinators, quarterbacks, coaches throughout this thing. So whole different scenario. What's going through their heads, hearts, it's tough. But that's, the growing up process. We often learn, it's about life. This is a business, et cetera. We're going to move on. So talent-wise and what those guys are seeing, they know he's good. But Bryce Ramsey is a stud, too. Athletically, he's got all the tools to make it happen. So if he plays, it's not the end of the world for sure.
And I'll keep quarterbacking this little mini segment. And I'll go to Tyson on this. So, as a player, you've been around for a while. Think about some of these guys, Sonny Michel, Nick Chubb, offensive linemen who've been there. How do you feel about it as a player? So do you want the guys who've been loyal and been around the longest, or do you want the guy who you think is going to be your shot to put a ring on the finger?
I think you kind of spoke on it earlier with times being so different. Like when we were coming in 12 years ago, we didn't know much about the guy across the state that was coming in unless you read the newspaper article the next morning. Nowadays, you can go on the internet and see a guy in Wyoming and can tell where his top 5 schools are. So Bryce Ramsey is not surprised to know that Jacob Eason was coming here and he was that great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I kind of feel like in a way, he's kind of more prepared for this than you would have been prepared back in your day. But either way, it still hurts the same.
Yeah. Deacon, so here's the question to you then. So hypothetically speaking, let's say he's the guy. Why should Jacob Eason be and I'm not saying he should be the guy, but if you had to say he's going to be the guy, why would Jacob Eason be the guy to start the season?
If he was going to be the guy.
If he's going to be the guy, why is he the guy?
I think he's got 4 years possibly here. Got most potential, more upside. Start getting him ready now. But I like how North Carolina doesn't know who we're starting yet. I think that's good for us too. Just keep them in the dark as well.
Absolutely. I can say my one Jacob Eason story. I go out there he's a sophomore in high school. We're hearing all this hype about him as we go to the dog night or whatever, and he flings a ball that I promise you I've never seen a punt go this high in my life. And it was my jaw dropped. And I don't give other quarterbacks props. Like his arm is out of this world. Yeah. So yeah, he is an undeniable talent. He's 240 now. He's got all the intangibles. They all had a rough scrimmage on Saturday, from what I hear.
Yeah.
They're throwing picks.
Yeah.
And this week is kind of his week to figure it out. So, it's out that he's taking all the reps for the first team. That does not mean that he's the man coming in right now week 1.
Exactly.
It means they're going to give him a shot to win the job.
Or lose it.
Or lose it. So I think it's going to be interesting to see next week, what happens with the rotations. Who do we see taking reps in the practices and stuff? Because, it's getting down to the I don't know a term we can say on here, but there ain't much time left before it's live.
Yeah.
There's live fire, so to speak.
Exactly.
So what about, when Matt Stafford was kind of in this same situation a few years ago? Do you think that it hurt us to sit Stafford and not play him immediately? Or do you think it would have been better to play him immediately?
I think we were going to win 8 or 9 games no matter who the quarterback was that year.
Wow.
And
So the stories I heard was that it was just foregone conclusion. He was going to play. I think they all knew.
Yeah.
When you see a talent like that come in, he's going to play. It's undeniable. So, and with Saturday being the first scrimmage, you give them all a chance. But it's time to start whittling down. And I think the coaches have made the right decision from our perspective here in front of the camera.
Right.
It is going to be interesting to see. While we're on the topic of transfer and quarterback play, one thing that's kind of gone under the radar this week that I think is way more substantial than people realize, Parker McLeod, transferring in from Alabama as you put it this week, a systems guy. What's your thoughts and what impact is Parker McLeod going to have on this football team?
so I don't know Parker, and his mama and them may be watching. So I don't want to go too far, but I think the biggest impact he's going to have is a great ability to signal in plays from the sideline.
Absolutely.
He may be the greatest guy in the world, but a lot of times you see guys like that wanting to come in, starting on the path of being a coach, and maybe he knows a little bit what's going on. Maybe he's a calm guy, maybe he's smart. I don't know. Parker McLeod is not going to see the field this year unless something goes crazy. But hey, if he's a little bit of a veteran presence in that quarterback room, you shouldn't need a veteran presence. You got Grayson Lambert and Bryce Ramsey who are upperclassmen. But one more body, one more mind, one more guy to help look at the film can't hurt. So, maybe it's going to be a good thing.
Definitely.
Yeah, interesting thing that I don't think he plays much, if ever, but I can go back to the way Spurrier ran his camps, and he always had G.A. Mangus, who has been at South Carolina with him, coach. Schottenheimer was one of those guys.
Yeah.
He was a guy that was not designed really to see the field too much as a player, but he was a systems guy. I had a really good buddy, Billy, was there, was a quarterback. He signaled in the plays. That's a future coach in the making. Not saying he is, but those guys, they're calming effect, they're veteran play. He doesn't know Chaney's system, but he knows Kirby's system. He knows what it's like. So there's a lot of unsung heroes on the football team.
And hopefully he'll be one of them.
Yeah. Former walk-ons and things like that are so vital to the success of any football team.
Pick a quarterback.
Pick a quarterback. Who you got?
I'm going with the young guy.
Jacob Eason.
Are we picking who we want or who we think?
Who you think?
At this point, I think you got to say Eason.
Eason. So we're unanimous. We're thinking it's going to be Eason. I say it's we want, but that's who we.
Hey,
really
Jacob,
think.
we know you're watching. No pressure, young buck. Don't screw it up, buddy.
Pressure's a thing, ain't it?
I think they're, here's the keys to the Escalade. Would you please drive?
Yes, please.
And don't hit anything.
Yeah,
So,
that's a very good
he hits a
point.
light pole this week. It's bad.
Yeah.
But here we go. We're going to see.
All right, so we're going to finish up this. Spurrier's out, Muschamp's in. It's a coaching carousel in the SEC East lately. Missouri's got a new coach. Spurrier was a great guy to hate. Let's face it. I have the utmost respect for Coach Spurrier and all that he's done. He's so fun to hate. Who is your guy around the league that is your new I love to hate?
It's got to be Nick Saban for me. I mean,
Why you hate Nicky?
Because with all his success, you got to love that part of it, but then he seems so arrogant sometimes that you'd be like, I just hate him. You know what I mean?
Tyson Brown.
Tyson's not going to be back next week. Nick Saban going to take care of that little bit. He's got people over here.
He's got people everywhere. You know that, right?
It's all right. Not in Athens.
I might step outside of the league and go with Harbaugh at Michigan. To me, if I'm thinking of somebody that I'd love to hate,
That's a good one. That's a
right
good
there.
One.
I mean, you have a bullet point list of things you can hate about that.
Yes, that is very, very true. He's done a great job.
I'll go with just because I personally can't stand the team, but I'll go Butch Jones. I can't stand Tennessee. Can you say I wouldn't relieve myself on a Tennessee hat if it was on fire? Something along those lines.
That's
family
good, yeah.
appropriate. Man, who builds something brick by brick? Like, what are we doing? Like, let's put something else on there. If you're saying it's good your first year, it's okay. But when you're the favorite for the SEC, like, come up with something new. And I don't like Tennessee. Oh, Rocky.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us how you really feel.
Oh, well, that's the problem.
Yeah.
So, old Butch is your love.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Harbaugh has got this thing down to a science on the hate factor. But, so very interesting thing. So that'll wrap up this edition of Dog Center, brought to you by Athens Regional, the official healthcare provider of the Georgia Bulldogs. Tyson, it's been great having you on here.
Man, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me, man.
Anytime.
Thanks for having me.
Catch us next week. We encourage you to send in your own Jackleg message board post of the week. Send it to show@DawgCenter.com.
Or, since y'all don't use the comment box on my mortgage link on the side over here, just send it there. And we'll use that link for something that we built out.
It does work. How many? We've got a few emails there. Russ, this, Russ, that.
Hey, Russ, you do mortgages great. Hey, what do you think about the center situation?
Man.
Let's do a loan.
Until next week, we'll be back. DawgCenter.com.
Can we do something about this? I am the talent. I am a professional. I'm not working in Pottery Barn, and he's fired. I know that's whoever. Desk guy's fired. Football guy's fired. Y'all are cool.